All right, Jay, let me know when you're ready, Jay. All right. All right, you guys, welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Lily. I will be hosting the show today. I know we have Candy on her way in right now. She's going to be our first guest, but we're going to give everybody a few minutes to hop in here. Welcome, Candy. There she is now. And we're going to start off. I usually start off with a question and I end with a question. It's a quote / question. And last week we had 2 amazing guests and they had my brain going. I'm excited for today. Like I said, I try to give everybody a few minutes to get in, and I'm going to just go ahead and start with this. Now, you don't have to answer right away. You can give it a few minutes. But for the first 5 minutes, I do 1 or 2 of these. And from last week, I left the show with, and the trouble is, if you don't risk anything, you risk even more. What is the greatest risk you've ever taken? Like just in maybe in the workplace, maybe at home, maybe slow. All right, guys. So I do want to remind you guys too, once I get the guests in the box, I do turn off the comments. So I will not see your comments. I'm sorry. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you guys or anything like that. So Candy says working for Marriott. Free Guy says getting married. I think for me, I haven't done anything too crazy up until recently, and that was starting my own business. Leaving your comfort zone to get a better education. Yeah, that's Smiley. That's a good one. Leaving your comfort zone halfway across the globe to get an education here. Nice, Smiley. Moving at 19. Oh, that's young. Oh, that has to be. So that had to be hard. Oh my gosh. Moving an hour and a half away from family and friends. Yeah, job of 10 years to start. Yeah, mine was my own business, but once it starts taking off and once it's successful, it's amazing. It's pretty awesome. I'm excited. We've got Candy's got a pretty good message to send out today, and I'm hoping Sunny Bay can make it. I'm not 100% sure she's going to be able to make it today, so you guys may get to ask me a bunch of questions. What kind of things do you want to know about Lily? What lessons have I learned maybe? But that's our backup plan. Sometimes things happen, life happens, and we never know. So we roll with the punches. We do what we got to do, right? Okay, so I will ask one more time in case there's anybody just coming in. You guys have just joined Lessons Learned. I'm Lily, and we are talking about what is the greatest risk you've ever taken? And the quote that comes with that is, and the trouble is, if you don't risk anything, you risk even more. So like just hearing that out loud, like you got to take risks. If you don't take risks, how do you know how far you can go? How successful can you be? If you don't try, you don't know, right? You've already failed if you don't try. We do regret chances we don't take. Like I'm regretting not moving to Florida in January when I had the chance. Like, what was I thinking? The snow, it's cold. I could be down there by Love Me, baking on the beach. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to go ahead, Candy, if you're ready. I will have you in the box. But for those of you guys who are just joining, you are watching Lessons Learned. I am Lily. I am the host. We have Candy. She is going to hop in the box when she's ready. I'm just going to wait for her okay in the stream because I don't like to just hit that button You're ready? Okay. I just don't want to be like, and here's Candy, and she's like over here doing something because I'm like, no, no. So, all right, Candy, I'm going to let you in. And if you want me to come up with questions, if you just want to roll with it, you let me know. I'm trying to hit the button here. I can do this. Yay. Hi.
Hi. I thank you so much for having me on the show. And thank you for asking if I was ready for the box because there has been times to where I'm like still sipping my coffee and people are like, and here's Candy. I'm like, where is she? So I'm like ducking off. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. This is a cool show. When Sunny mentioned it to me, I'm like, okay, like I'm a person who loves learning. So I think every experience in life is a lesson learned, you know. And when I first told Emoji J what I wanted to say, he was like, I don't know if that was a life lesson, but it was, you know, like car insurance, you know, being a young kid, 18 to 21, we that responsibility, you know, we think we can do without things, and they are very key elements in life. And even just going on what the biggest lesson was learning was like listening to people, you know, like just being quiet in the moment. um, I grew up in a loud background, whether it was my family or in foster care, you know. So once I got older and I was just always loud, always just so reactive, and I'm like, yo, this isn't healthy, you know, like how can I fix this, you know? Facebook, everything on social media like bugged me, and I'm like, yo, this is not their problem. Like people have the freedom to post what they want to post, you know. Like how can I control myself when reading, looking, hearing those things? And it's like, take a moment, understand that this isn't personal. So that came from like meditation. I went to therapy about 5 years ago, and she practiced mindfulness. And one of the things were meditation. And I promise y'all, it saved my life. Like, seriously, like I went through this whole phase to where I'm like, okay, different religions. Like, I was just seeking that levelness, you know, like, yeah, I believe in Christ, and but I wanted more. Like I needed a bigger understanding, you know. And meditation was one of the best things. Like, I got into yoga, just being one with myself, like body, mentally. Like people say you are what you think, we laugh at it. Just like when they say, words don't hurt me, words do hurt, and you are what you think, you know. Train your mind to and the body to flow together, you know. So even when it comes to like anxiety, panic attacks, it has helped me like stay balanced during those times. Like it helped me to have a better understanding of what was going on at that time, you know. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm sitting here just hanging out with Lily, and here I am having a panic attack. Like, okay, nothing, I'm not in danger, calm down, breathe, relax. But what works for me may not work for you. But I would say always like just exhaust every option before you just give up on yourself, or just like label yourself being this, because I could just be like, oh, this is just how I am, like I'm just this reactive person because of what I've been through and all that. And it's like, no, that's not an excuse. Like, character and ethics, that's on you, kid, you know.
Right?
So, see, she gave me the floor and I just ran with it, y'all. So now I'm exhausted. So, not really exhausted, but I'm like, okay, Candy, hush, let Lily talk. You just water on through.
You're good. No, you said that I too put myself in therapy for pretty much the same reason. I was very reactive. I was very quick to have to feel like I needed to defend myself when there wasn't necessarily always a need to even defend myself. And we'd be at a work meeting and talk about this. I'm like, why is that a problem? Because one time 6 months ago, I forgot to put something away and now I have a guilty conscience, or something like that. But my son was in therapy, and I remember we made mindfulness jars, and we would fill the jars, and I don't remember what the therapist put in it for him, but I would sit down and I'd catch myself zoning out into this mindfulness jar, which was for a child, was their way to zone out, to meditate. For us, we kind of close our eyes and can relax, but for them, and you had to watch it till all the glitter and all the whatever settled to the bottom. And then by that time, he was calm enough, we could sit down, we could talk or whatever. But I don't know why that made me, when you said that, it made me think of that. But just real quick, you guys are tuning in to Lessons Learned. I'm Lily. This is Candy, and we're discussing about how listening is so important, and how even though sometimes we may feel we need to be defensive, sometimes we just need to listen and not be so quick to react. So growing up, you said you had a loud background. And I didn't. So it's we have the same reactions, and I learned that behavior, I guess, or I taught myself. You said there was like a point when you realized you were being very, very reactive. Like, how did that feel? What was that moment for you like?
I was really sad. It happened during the time I was moving, and my pastor and a couple of guys from church were moving me, and I was just so demanding. And he stopped me, and he was like, "Hey, BSP," because though he just called me by my initials. He was like, "We're doing these things for free." That's all he said, and I broke all of that down. One, I wasn't humble. One, I was griping for no reason, like I'm always so reactive when, or hard on myself when people critique me. But at that moment, I knew it was someone who loved me that was telling me something, and I needed to take heed. So I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just reacting to every little thing that I see. If there's a towel on the floor, instead of me rawing for someone to pick it up, is it going to hurt me to pick it up? So changing my mind from being defensive, like someone is trying to get me, and just understand that sometimes I'm not doing it right, just listening to it instead of just reacting, because sometimes as soon as the mouth starts opening, we're just like, what? And like, yo, I'm saying you're dope today, that's all, don't pipe down. But it really made me feel shitty a little, because I was like, yo, they are definitely doing this for free. I've moved like 5 times because I was just college. I was like this spoiled little brat. So I made a lot of crazy decisions. But since then, I learned that being humble really will get you so many places, and being thankful. So, and I had to learn to listen to those people in order to even know that they were giving me those feelings. So sometimes we're being loved and we don't even know it, y'all.
Right, right. So what did it feel like to take those first steps towards being able to listen and to understand people? Like, did you feel the difference in your, like for here, like for me, when I shut up and started listening, and I still struggle sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but you feel it. I feel it here, like, oh, that's what adulting 101. Okay. So
Absolutely.
did it give you that type of oh yeah feeling?
It did feel good. Like it really felt good. Because I didn't have to go back and apologize for anything either. And not saying that I don't like apologizing, but when you apologize, that means that you're gonna stop doing something. Like you're really sorry for it. So to not have to go back and apologize, like I was just so proud of myself. And being teachable also, I was able to be more teachable when I started listening. People were willing to teach me things. It was just, I'm still thankful for it. Like I'm learning every day, something that I can be better at about myself. Not that I'm just nitpicking at myself, but I just really have learned that every day we should try to be a better version. Whether I was driving yesterday and I said the lady next door to me was ugly, like just anything that I've said that really, and just trying to be a good human, and happy thoughts are like the best things. And even when I think on things like that, I'm like, that's not nice, but I think I'm a comedian, so I make the silliest jokes sometimes. So I'm like, please forgive me.
Right. I feel that too. That's funny. Yeah. I I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people now, especially since we have all this technology, do you think how do you feel like looking at people now? Like when everyone's always so into their phone, and I feel like this new age, they don't ever really listen. They hear what we're saying, but they're not listening, you know? Like
Absolutely.
ah,
Absolutely.
I don't
I love technology right now, but I hate it also. Like my son is 20 and my daughter is 13. He didn't grow up like he didn't have a cell phone until like 11th grade. Here she is 8th grade and she has an iPhone 13. And I'm like, yo, um there's no way around it for real, like even if we try to keep it away and try to control it a little, like it's so much exposure out there. But I just try to shape it in a healthy way with my daughter, like, yo, you guys are doing all this stuff on Roblox and all that, like really teaching to do that as a field or like to take advantage of learning it, because technology is definitely at its best, if not being greater, and they are always advancing it. No matter how much we're like, yo, slow down. I don't want this being like the change. The world is changing, and we have to adapt and be able to roll with it. But it's too much though. Like it's too advanced. Um, I try to not have my daughter on it, but it's so important these days to where like you're not this, and no, we don't care what people think, but it's such a I have to have it type thing. Like all, even if it's the fears of the world, like, oh, I have to have my kid a phone because she's home for 30 minutes without an adult or something like that. Like the world has made it to where you're gonna think you need it and you're gonna have it type thing. So that's my opinion, y'all. I'm sorry.
no, I that's why I ask. I think so too. I Have you ever seen the movie Wall-E, the Disney movie Wall-E?
No.
So long story short, it's technology. You know, the Earth. We have a nuclear bomb on Earth, so everybody goes and lives up in space in the spaceships, and then they all fly around in the machines. So everything literally is done through technology. They don't have human to human contact anymore. Well, then they have this garbage robot on Earth that goes around and collects garbage, and then they have this ghost thing that comes down from the spaceship, and it's to look for life on Earth. And long story short, they find life on Earth. They go back up to the spaceship. The spaceship goes awry. The technology goes to crap. And then people actually like have contact with each other. Well, all these people, they sit around in these machines and they fly around all day, and they don't ever they don't do even what, like, they only do what we're doing. They don't have face to face. They don't meet. They don't shake hands. They don't go and, and they're all on this spaceship. They all live on and to me it was mind blowing. And anyway, so when it goes awry, a couple of the things, they crash and two people have to go face to face with each other, and they get all like and it's all weird for them to meet each. And so long story short is it opened my eyes with the technology, and my kids have hated me since I watched that movie because I'm like, no, we're not going to become those space people. I tell her we're not going to become floating space people. You guys watch
Right.
Wally. If you've got kids and they're 24/7 on them electronics, watch that movie, man. I was like, what?
Okay, so now I feel bad. How old are your kids? What's the youngest?
11 and 21.
My kids just didn't watch TV then. I'm like, yo, where did this movie? I saw. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna add that in my list, y'all. Like, people are like, "What? You've never seen this movie? What did your kids watch?" I was like, "They didn't watch TV. I was working. Like, we
We
didn't watch."
I didn't have cable, but I'm a Disneyaholic, so I own every single Disney.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that's what they watch. So, okay. So before I let you go, what do you stream? Do you have a show yourself? Like who's your favorite streamer? Give me some of your streaming details so we can check you out.
Okay. I do stream normally from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. This morning I did 7 to 10 since I was coming on here. And that's Eastern Standard Time. That's Candyland. If you catch me after 9 p.m., that's Candyland After Dark. Enter at your own risk. I'm just saying, there's no telling what's going on, what we're talking about. It could be pajama night. You just never know. I am one of the admins for Top Badge Winda, for her scheduling her shows, which is the chopping block. And on that's on Mondays at 8, and then on Wednesdays her featured show Friends Exposed, also 8 p.m. I am a model with Role Model Fresh. Again, congratulations to her last night winning the Streamer of the Year female category. That was a dope night. Congrats to everyone. Jilly, it's Jilly Baby, for being the icon. They are really dope people. Really good energies floating around here. And energy is so big. Personalities, charisma, just a lot of things in people. Just because you're not face to face, you can definitely feel that here. Just I enjoy making genuine connections. I am more of a gifter than I am streamer. I am at like 3.2, and I've only converted twice, and that's been for $200. So I definitely convert everything, and I'm purple VIP. So I buy in. So I tell people I'm that only to let them know I'm not here for the diamonds. I'm here for genuine connection, and I'm taking a gamble on people, but aren't people worth it? So believing in people and love conquers all. So that's how I end my stream also. Like, love yourselves and love one another. So
I always tell people I love you and I believe in you. That's my ending thing. So every day 8 to 11, right? Eastern.
yes, 8 a.m. to 11. Yes.
We'll have to come check you out. I'm on most days from like 8:30 to 11 ish. 8:30 to 11:30 in the mornings, Monday through Friday, and depending on Saturday or Sunday, depends on if I went out Friday or Saturday.
I know that's right. Well, I work like two jobs, so like this on the weekends it's long for me. I'm there until like 10:30. And but I still that's why I don't try to go a time on the weekends, because I'm like, yo, if I feel like it, I do, and not in a bad way. But people don't realize it takes a lot of this takes a lot being on the camera for people to just sit there, watch you, record you, make you just never know. So people be weird, and we feel that. Just to let y'all know, we feel y'all breathing, watching us. Like,
We do. We know. We know who you are. We just don't
we
say.
know. We talk about y'all in the group chat like if they were over there yesterday. Yes, they were. And we like I've seen trolls come troll me, not say anything, and then I see them in another one. Like, Life and Liberty is a real person, people. If Life and Liberty has come in, Life and Liberty has a ring around his neck now, like he's like big 23 or something. I'm like, see, you a real person. You're busted. Like, you have to get a new troll account now. We know you are a real person, so at least speak to us.
That's funny. So I do like to ask everybody, as one of the last things, I forgot to ask it before I asked you when you stream or whatnot, but what does self-love look like for you? I'm always curious to hear what people have to say their self-love looks like. Like once you learn and you better yourself, like how do you reward yourself for being like, yeah, I'm even more awesome than I was yesterday?
Um, I don't reward myself often as much as I should. Not being in a cocky way, but just reminding myself of, just every day pushing through it is an achievement. So I do say, remind myself of that every night. Like, you did it, girl. Like, thank you for making it through the day. Um, but just it's hard sometimes, though. It is hard, trying to find that self-love, or reminding yourself of that self-love. Not saying that I don't care what people think, but knowing that I'm being my true self, the best of me, that I can be. I can't be mad. No matter, like, I heard a rumor about myself today on the app, And anyone else would have ran and just made a big fit about it. And I was like, I'm not going to even entertain that. Like, that's not true. So why would I give that energy to talk about it in my stream? And I was in someone else's stream. And I was like, yo. But, and at that moment too, I was like, yo, good job. Like, because it's not true. So what are you defending? Like, on to the next. So I wish a lot of people would take that in consideration. Yeah, words do hurt, but when you know that things are not true, you know, um, just let it roll over. They're not affecting your life. Half those people you may not even ever see again. So just keep pushing, keep being the best you.
Well, I thank you very much for being a part of today's show. It means a lot, and I know it's nice to be reminded to sometimes you got to listen, because even though you work on it, there's certain days that you need to be reminded, and I kind of needed that reminder this week when you wrote the day that you wrote to me, listening, and I was like, I was just having an argument with my daughter, and I was in a bad mood, right? So I wasn't listening. I really wasn't. And you wrote that, you're like, about listening. And I was like, and I walked back in there. I said, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
So it's just funny how sometimes things like that go around. So I
Right.
thank you again very much. You guys can check her Monday through Friday, 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you hit her with that favorite. And thank you so very much for being here.
Hey, Sunny.
How are you? How are you today, love? Okay, so you guys, if you're just tuning in, this is Lessons Learned. I am Lily. I am the host of the show. We just got done talking with Candyland, and she is amazing. We just went over how it is so important to listen, how you have to sometimes shh and listen. You can't always be so reactive and defensive. So now for the next few minutes, it's like our halftime here. I have quotes, and I like to see who's going to get to talking in here. Who's going to give me some good answers. So we're going to just mix them up, and I'm going to pick one at random. And you guys, just again, if you're new, this is Lessons Learned. I'm Lily. You can catch us every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so. Okay, so here's a good one. Cultivate only the habits that you are willing to, hold on, wait, what? Cultivate only habits that you are willing should master you. That are you willing should master you. What habit should you give up? They put that in there wrong. That's probably why the game was $4 at the discount store. It's like the third card that I've read that's wrong. But the point is still it's still good. It's still good. So cultivate only the habits that you are willing to master. I don't know, but the important part is, what habit should you give up? Do any of you guys have a habit you should give up? I gave up smoking, and I should really give up overthinking too, love me. That's a good idea. I need to give up tons of junk food. I need to give up my inability to want to control my junk food consumption. McDreamy says crazy women. Oh my God. Eating fast food, right, Steffi? Oh man, wouldn't life be easier if we could just... Okay, here's another one. So kind of on my self-love journeys, fast food. Yeah, I know, right? Boopty says fast food too. And so Emoji says he needs to give up sitting on his butt so much. Well, he says he needs to exercise more, so he has to give up sitting on his butt so much. Hey, you should you you can stream the show, and I should make you walk. You can walk while my show is being recorded. That can be 1 hour of exercise every week. So you have to pick one show that while it's going, you have to walk. You're not allowed to sit in your chair. Or you get one of the bouncy balls and you could sit and do the bounce, and that really works your core. I know that probably looked funny. I shouldn't do that on my show, but those really work your core too. Featured show status, not normal streamer status. Okay, so my next question, caring what people think, right? You know what, Shetty, hold on, before we go to the next question, we are right now, you guys, you are watching Lessons Learned, and we are discussing what habit you should give up. And giving up what I always say, that other people's opinions of myself should not matter. They don't matter. They do. They really do. But they shouldn't. Okay. And I tell myself every day, they don't pay your bills. They don't cuddle you or rub your back at night, you know? Yeah, vaping is, yeah. I am actually doing really well. I haven't touched mine in a couple days. Now you brought it up and I want it, but I'm still going to say no. Carmen San Diego, eating junk. Yeah, I know. In case you guys haven't been a part of my nighttime streams, I think I've consumed an entire goldfish box and half a bag of Cheetos this week. So, right? So, Carmen, maybe we should just we'll talk about this off the show. We need to be on the phone and stop each other from eating. Okay, so next question. Next comment with question is, I think I'm the happiest I've ever been. So I'm going to read it again, and I'm going to read it slower. I think I'm the happiest I've ever been. Part of it is just learning what makes me happier and doing more of it, and learning what makes me unhappier and doing less of it. Let me read this one more time. Guys, thank you too for the gifts. I am sorry. I don't mean to ignore gifts, or I do not mean to ignore favorites. So thank you for the favorites. Thank you for the gifts. I try to stay focused on my guests when they are in the box. And then I'm terrible. I'll get better at it. I promise. So I think I'm the happiest I've ever been. Part of it is just learning what makes me happier and doing more of it, and learning what makes me unhappier and doing less of it. How do you make yourself happier? What is it that is part of your daily routine that makes you happier? Like for me, it is legit being on here. It is legit streaming. It is talking to you guys. It's talking through some of my day-to-day feelings and struggles. And to you guys, it's probably nothing. It's probably just me venting and having another one of my, amazing sessions of where I talk too much. But it helps, and I'm sure none of you are listening, but just me saying it out loud makes me feel like I'm sharing my problem, so it's automatically cut in half, right? So how do you make yourself happier? Being around my kids, says Morgan. Love me, says snuggling her animals. Yeah, she's got bearded dragons too, and she's got kitty cats. Smiley says traveling. Oh, I love traveling. I'm newer to the traveling scene, Smiley. Maybe we should plan a trip too. I'm going to make adventures with all of you. It's going to happen throughout the course of my life. Shetty says laughing. Carmen says being around her boyfriend. Carmen, I need a good boyfriend. I need one that I want to be around. Does he have a brother? Dion says having a roof over my head. Yes. Yes. All right, you guys, we're about a minute away from Sunny hopping in. Whenever you're ready, Sunny, you let me know. And we're not in a rush. I can always do another question. Going to the state park, fishing, boating. Oh my God, I love fishing. I absolutely love fishing, and it's even better on a boat. All right, guys, are you guys ready for Sunny? I will let her tell you her story. We're just going to let her hop on in. I know she's made me smile in our little chat, so I'm excited. It should pull up the medium box. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm having my coffee. That's what makes me feel the best first thing in the morning.
Nice.
It is. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm excited to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for recommending Candy. She had a powerful message too. And I do
baby on the app.
I want to make sure I heard this right, but did I hear someone get a shout out last night as a special admin? Was that you? Role model called you out. She called out as Sunny, and I was like, "Is that her?"
Yeah, that's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. It's me. I am an admin for Role Model Fresh, and I'm an admin for Winda.
Okay.
So I'm an admin for two top badges right now.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, she just called out. I'm like, I get to meet Sunny tomorrow. I was
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's me. Look, I say, you know how they tell people in the Hollywood settings, don't be a name dropper. I'm becoming a name dropper. Yes, I'm an admin for Top Badge Role Model Fresh. Yes, I'm an admin for Top Badge Window. I'm becoming a name dropper and not even trying to be.
But I mean, it's exciting though, and especially when to get that award for her is like, oh, all right. Okay, back to the topic. We can talk.
I'm a talker, baby. I'm a
Yeah,
talker.
I'm sorry. I just get excited for these guys because I sit back and I watch some of the top badges, and I'm quiet at first. I'm intimidated. I won't lie. So I get excited, and I've watched Romana, and she's awesome. Her show that she does, the acting thing, that is hilarious. I get such a kick out of it. So, all right. So your life. All right, on track. Go. Let's go. Your life lesson.
Oh, you're so much like me. I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right. So what is your life lesson? What are you going to share with us today?
As I said, of me being a woman of a certain age, there is so many life lessons. So if you ever need me back, I got a bunch of them. But the biggest one that I could think that I thought of that caused me the most trouble, that has been around since I can ever remember, that I still have to govern myself accordingly to, is setting boundaries and moving along the path of that boundary that you set. That has been the biggest source of all my of when I look back, it's like you get to a certain point and you're like, why, you're in that point of crying. Why is this happening to me? And why did he do this? Why did she do that? It was the wake up, because you allowed them to do it because you set no boundary, or they felt it was okay to do it because you set a boundary, but you let them cross it. So I had to think back, and it wasn't until I started with a mental health professional that's what we came up to. Because I went back as far as I can think back, and a lot of us can think back, and it's like, my sisters treated me a certain way. My one sister used to say, "Oh, I know you drink. I know you get high. You ain't just that happy on your own." And I would just cry about it. But me being the 55 Sunny, going back to the 17 Sunny, didn't realize that I should have put my foot down and say, okay, if you don't like me being this chipper, then just don't be around. If you don't like me being this chipper, then maybe you should think about why you feel you have to drink or smoke weed to have fun. But I never set the boundary to say, don't talk to me that way.
Right.
Don't think of me that way. Accept me as I am, or don't accept me. So that's why I said, when I start thinking back, it's so many of them went to that. And that I can think back all the way at 16, 17. But it bothered me. And what did it do? It made me feel, one, is that what I should be doing? Should I be drinking? Should I be smoking weed? Two, is everybody else doing that? Is that, is that what it is? And then it was another thing was, it started making me feel is, am I not going to be accepted? Yeah. Not by just anybody else, but am I not going to be accepted by my older sister because I'm not doing it? So it put in self-esteem issues early.
Right.
Very, very early. Very, very early. I've had them where I do, because I'm self-employed, I do a lot of small business expos, a lot of pop-up shops, that type thing. And I was doing one live one day, a sister, and I'm sticking on family because I want people to know you have to set boundaries even with your family.
Yep.
because that's where our guard is the lowest. But sometimes that's where we get hurt the most because we don't put a boundary and make them not cross it.
Right.
I was at, and I was so happy because I was there. I had this little spot, and then the person who was over it called me one day and said, "Would you like such and such spot?" And I was like, "Well, where is it?" And he told me, I said, "Oh, that's the one I wanted at first, but I couldn't afford that spot." It had all these little shelves, this pretty little display outside, and it was right outside of Victoria's Secret.
Nice.
And and Bath and Body. So it's Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body, and I would have been right here. I said, "Oh, that's the one I wanted, but I couldn't afford it." He said, "Well, do you want it?" I said, "How much?" He said, "No, the person who was there got a regular store, so you can have it if you want it. I'm not even gonna charge you for it." This was the week of Christmas. Yes, I'll take it, I'll take it, I'll take it. The second day, I'm on live, right? Who calls me but my other sister and says, "Can you at least put some lipstick on?" I'm not a big makeup girl. I do it every once in a while. She called me in the middle. Oh, she called me in the middle and said, "Can you at least put some makeup on?"
Wow.
Again, everything dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Everything dropped. I'm making 2K a day. I'm clearing 2K a day. Oh, somebody's at my door. I'm sorry.
You're okay. You're okay. Take your time. So, for those of you guys just tuning in, you are watching Lessons Learned. I am Lily. This is Sunny Bunny, and she is talking about how setting boundaries and acceptance is very, very important in our day-to-day life, and how it's still a struggle for herself to set the boundaries and to keep that on track so that she can.
I'm sorry.
You're okay. You're
I was
okay.
trying to ignore, but they kept doing it. So I was like, let me not, because now they're gonna go to the back door if I don't answer.
You're okay. You're okay. I was just kind of catching everybody up, let them know, what's going on, so you can hop back in.
Just hop back in. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I was clearing 2K, 3K a day, and I get this call saying, can't you please at least put some lipstick on? If you're not gonna put any other makeup on, can you please put some lipstick on? Another boundary, and this is me at 47. Another boundary I never crossed. I mean, I let a family member cross. Just because they wear makeup every day don't mean I need to wear makeup every day. I like my natural skin. I like this.
Beautiful.
I like this. And the thing was, I make skincare products. So why did I let that get to me? That was the purpose of no makeup, was just to see the natural skin. But because I would let her say, "Could you not wear your hair wrapped? Could you not wear this? Could you do some makeup? Can you put on some?" She would do it all the time. And I never stopped her and said, "Stop saying that to me. I like myself without makeup." I never put a boundary up. And then the worst time that she could have crossed that line was in the middle of a live. I'm doing a live broadcast
Right.
of this event. And she calls me and says that.
Now, you're selling all this money and you're making skincare and you're not wearing makeup. Obviously, you make an amazing product. For one, your skin looks phenomenal. I'm completely jealous. For two, I mean, I think a lot of times when people do something like that, it's kind of like an envious thing, like a jealousy type thing, and although I don't try to put myself on the pedestal, that's a lot of the times how I'm able to look past a lot of the insults and the down, but the putting me down and why not this, why not that. So yeah, it's, oh God, I don't understand. We shouldn't have, people should just be nice to each other already.
But it doesn't, and it's just a really hard thing. It's like and I don't know how much time I have, because I can go on with this about the
We're still good. We're good.
Okay, it was Then I'll say one. I even stopped. I don't know if I'll have time for that one or not. If I do, I'll come back. There was a boundary I let get crossed by another family member, by my mother, forever and ever. And then it got to that ultimate one, and I had to stop talking to her. Um, but that is one. Another one I would say relationships. But relation. No, let me go and stick with family, like I said I would. I'll stick with family. Um, I'm the youngest, but I've always been the most stable. I was the first one married, the first one to have children, all the first one to move out the family home. So, like you said, the jealousy, envy thing. And it's funny that you said that because I was just talking to my ex-husband a couple of days ago. And I told him, I said, I had to realize that she was jealous. He said, "Yeah, babe, she was jealous of you from the time I met you, and that was when I was 18."
Mm-hmm.
But it's these boundaries that don't get crossed. I mean, we let cross. Even if like it was with my mom, and there were just things that were nagging me. This don't sound right. This not right. I got to a point where I didn't want her to even call, to see her phone call come in. I would cringe because I didn't want to answer the call
Right.
because she kept crossing the line, crossing the line, and crossing the line. Even when I started dating women, and she's telling me, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." I'm like, "Okay, tell me the truth. How do you feel about it? How do you feel?" Because a lot of old school people don't believe in same sex relationships. And I kept saying and kept saying and kept saying it. Then I find out that she's talking a whole different thing behind the scenes, right? But I set that boundary. You be truthful to me.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me anymore because you've lied to me about so many things. And I get upset for 5 seconds, and then we talking hee hee ha ha, and then we get off the phone and I'm hurt. You do another thing, another lie, you get caught in about something. But why did you do it? Or why didn't you just say it? That's me. Oh, I didn't know how y'all would feel about it. Okay, push it back. Another boundary. But don't lie to me again. But don't lie to me again. But don't lie to me again. For years and years and years and years and years. And information I needed to know or wanted to know just on things I was hearing about family history. Please tell me this. Please tell me that. Tell me this much of it, and then the rest would be fabricated.
Right.
Is this the truth? I need the truth. For my mental, I need the
Right.
truth. For
Right.
my raising my children, I need the truth. For my knowing why I am how I am as a woman, I need the truth. Find out it was even more lies. And it finally hit me when I was in a therapy session. I was with my therapist and we were talking, and she said, "Sonny, you don't draw now one boundary line for any aspect of your life." And I'm like, "No, I do." She said, "Well, what about this?" I said, "Well, that was my sister. You didn't set a boundary." "Well, what about that?" "That was my sister. That was my brother. That was my mom. That was my dad. You didn't set a boundary." I'm like, "Okay, so what is a boundary then, since I'm not setting boundaries?" She said, "The boundary is basically the rule of your life for anybody that wants to be a part of it. That's your boundary. How people say they put up a wall, it's that line. It's an invisible line, and everybody needs to have it in every aspect of your life. Have a boundary, whether it's to say you won't talk to me like this, whether it's to say I'm not accepting any lying in my life. I'm not accepting drinking in my life. I'm not accepting any type of drug related situations in my life. No, I won't date anybody that's done this. No, I'm not going to eat the turtle candy that you about to make in when you get off this show. No, you don't need no sugar today. Whatever it is, that if it crosses over into your life, into your mind, body, soul, it's going to have you feeling off. It's going to have you struggling with who you are. It's going to have you struggling with depression. It's going to have you in any way that is not what you want to be. That's what that boundary line is for. And all that stuff, that negative, that toxic, any of that. And believe me, family can be the most toxic, the most toxic. Whatever it is, let it stay on that side. This is your boundary. And if somebody tries to even climb up that boundary, push back. Make them go back. Don't let them cross, because once they cross over, what I was doing is they didn't even have to struggle and go over a wall. They just, they can just skip over my boundary lines at one point. They could just skip over them. And then what happens is when you let someone come across your boundary line, then you feel hurt, then you're sad, then your esteem is gone, then your body shaming, you're everything shaming yourself because you let somebody cross over that line. So we have to keep it there. You may back it up a half an inch, but don't keep backing it up. Sometimes and that's what got me the most with trying to set boundaries. I started feeling selfish. Well, maybe I should have allowed, or maybe I was too strict on them. Maybe I was too hard on them. But then when that next situation came up, I let the guard down. I let that boundary down. And they walked on in and tore my heart, my mind apart. So then it was like, oh, no, 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 you don't get that back up no more. You don't get that line down anymore. And that's how we have to figure it out. Some we can back up a half a millimeter sometime, but only, my saying nowadays, if it feels good in your soul. So if it feels good in your soul to back up a half a millimeter, back up. If it feels like, oh no, if I let you get what that's saying, if I give you an inch, take a foot. You feel like if you back up a half a millimeter, it's going to put you in a bad place, mental, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, any of that, push back an extra use that half a millimeter and make that boundary line even further out. Because that's what was happening, is I was letting everybody cross the boundaries that I set. And then I'm crying. Then my depression would kick in. Then I was like, well, why does this have to happen to me? And I'm so tired. That would be my saying. I'm tired. I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of you treating me like this. I'm tired of you doing this to me. But then when I would get through with it and I would remember, you let them. You let them.
Yeah. Wow.
So you can't be mad at them at that point. Don't even be mad at yourself. Just get you some pushback.
Right.
And don't let it happen with that same person again. And the more you do with those direct people in your life, everybody coming in new, they gonna know from the beginning. You don't even have to tell them. They just gonna be able to tell by your persona, yeah, I can't cross this line with him. I can't cross this line with her. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, I was suicidal. I was suicidal. Seriously, don't know how I made it out of it. Because I kept allowing people to cross the line. Excuse me. And I'm empathic, so I feel. So I feel people. So if I feel that somebody's in distress, even though you just did me dirty last week, I let you come on into my space. Even though I feel you hurt and you just did something that hurt me yesterday, I can feel your pain. So come on into my bosom. Come on in. But I had to start saying no, or just say, oh, I'm sorry for you. Is there anything? How can I help you? How did you get to that point? I had to start taking it that way. But first and foremost, to protect myself, I stopped taking the calls. Because if you don't take the call, if you don't read the message, if you don't listen to the voicemail, guess what? That lessens the possibility of you weakening enough to let them cross that boundary.
Yep.
And I had to do it. Somebody said about family. I didn't talk to my mother for about 9 months. For about 9 months. I'd see her call. So I let the call, I didn't block her.
Right.
Because as long as I was seeing the calls coming in, I'm like, okay, she good. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. But I told her, I can't talk to you right now. I can't talk to you right now. Because every time I get off the phone, I'm in a worse position than I was before I got on the phone. And that's not how our conversations should be.
Right.
So every once in a while, I'd respond back to a text. I'm good. Y'all good? Yeah, and she said they're good. I'm like, okay. That was it. But the worst culprit of crossing that line, of crossing that boundary, or of trying to chisel that wall down was my mother.
Yeah.
So she was the hardest one for me to put that wall up.
Yeah.
But that's why it took so long. That's why it was like that 9 months. I probably verbally spoke to her maybe 5, 6 times in 9 months. Yeah. But she called 2, 3 days a week. And I wouldn't talk to her. And I told her, I cannot talk to you right now. I can't. I told her she was sapping my energy. Yeah. From talking to her. And do not be afraid to tell somebody that. You don't, and actually, you don't owe anybody an explanation. Right. For why you have a boundary up. Right. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Yeah. But if you want to tell them, you can tell them. I didn't tell her for a while, but then after a few months, I said, at least tell her why you're not answering her calls, you know? But I couldn't talk to her because I had to protect myself. So I couldn't talk to her for months. It was just text. And I don't like, that's just me. If it's something like that, I don't like it. It needs to be verbal. I'm old school. So it took about 4 months. And I finally told her, every time I talk to you, you're sapping my energy because you're crossing these boundaries. So for that reason, I can't talk to you until I'm set with being able to stand firm. And even now, when we talk, if I feel it, I said, it's time for me to go. You about to cross that line. Yeah. And she'll say, oh, okay, I get it. Or she'll say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. That means because she still want to talk. But if either it's one of the two, either I say, okay, I got to go because you're crossing that line and I can't. Or she'll say, I'm sorry. Or either she'll say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was doing it. Right. Or she'll say, I'm sorry, it was just this, we won't talk about it no more. I won't do it anymore. And we'll continue talking. But that boundary is set in stone, and now she won't even attempt to cross it. Yeah. So those boundaries, y'all, put them up. It don't mean shut yourself off from the world.
No, I thank you very much. I definitely, I soaked a lot of that in today. But before I let you go, I want to let anybody know, if you're just tuning in, this is Lessons Learned. This is Sunny, and we're discussing about how it's so important to have our boundaries up. If you guys haven't favorited her already, please do so. And before you take your exit, I would like to know, when can we catch you? Do you stream? Do you go live? When can we catch you?
My main days, any day of the week, you can catch me around 9 p.m. Eastern. But Tuesday nights, I have a show called Taboo Topics. That's where we discuss those hush-hush things, you know, like, is there one true religion? Marital rape, we've discussed. We're having coming up, we're having homelessness, and we're having surviving drug addiction. We've done like surviving family secrets. We do those deep conversations, 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights. Friday night, which is tonight, is my let loose night. Friday night is old school and brown liquor night. That's what we do on Friday nights. But any other night, my stream is vibe. It may be silly. It may be serious. It may be cracking jokes. It might be people in the box dancing or telling their story. It's just my stream is called the safe place. It's a safe place. It's yeah, it's a safe place. We're all sisters, brothers, aunties, uncles, stuff like that. It's some flirting get mixed in there too. So yeah, but it's the safe place. Yeah, brown liquor, old school brown liquor, y'all.
Oh, thank you so much, Sunny. I mean, both of you guys had powerful messages, but a couple of things you was just today was like, ooh, I feel that. Ooh.
I saw your eyes. I saw your eyes when they hit.
So yeah, that's when you see me doing the clinch, you know it's hitting.
I saw your eyes change. I'm like, oh, that meant something for her right there.
I wear every emotion I feel right on my face. I don't hide emotions well. So, but no, thank you so much. I will let you go, and I definitely will be reaching out to have you come back because.
And I just want to say too, if anyone wants to be on Acting Out with Role Model Fresh, Friends Exposed with Winda, or the Chopping Block with Winda, you can hit me up on Instagram.
The Chopping Block? Is that
the Chopping Block is trivia. It's a trivia show with 6 people. Okay. There's a round of questions, and at the end of the first round, everybody gets to vote somebody off.
Okay, I'd be gone after the first round.
I always think that, and I'm always there long. I'm like, can I vote myself? But yeah, and then the second round is the same thing. Everybody gets a question. Everybody gets to vote for one person. It has to be the consensus. If it's tied, then they go into a like a round off kind of thing. The first one to miss their answer. So it's last man standing, basically. Last man standing.
Chopping Block Mondays?
Mondays at 8 Eastern. Friends Exposed is Wednesdays at 8 Eastern. And Friends Exposed is 2 sets of people, not necessarily friends, frenemies, friends off app, just friends on app, whatever. And they compete against each other to see who gets the most answers right about the other person.
So, okay. That could be fun. I got a couple people I could probably pull out of that with that one.
Yeah. And then, of course, Acting Out is comedy improv, and that's on Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern.
I've watched that one. I don't know that I could be a part of that. I love watching it, man. Like I said, I watched it a few times, and I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
Just jump in the box and tell her to give you a small part, that you just test in the water. She'll be all right.
All right, I'll be like, Sunny, help me.
Well, that's why we schedule groups. Right. Groups of friends, families, like that, because you all know each other the best and you feed off each other and you're most comfortable with each other. So if you have a group of people you want to come that make you comfortable, that you can just say that, you know what, if this was like this, I do that. Yeah, if you got those people you like that with, bring them on.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much. Congratulations to Role Model. And to you for the shout out, because I was excited for you to get the shout out, and I
was the first one. I was like, yeah, she said my name first.
I hadn't even met you yet. I was like, oh, I get to meet her tomorrow. Calm down.
So see, you didn't get me for a clout chasing thing because you didn't even know I was her admin. See? But yes, I am admin for the top streamer of the year.
I'm coming in and be like, I know Sunny now. But I will say I'm not there.
I don't usually do that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna do that all for the next 2-3 days. Yes, I'm admin for the top streamer of the year, Role Model Fresh. How can I help you?
All right, thank you so much. I'm gonna see if if he wants to go in here. Well, thank you. You were awesome. Oh my God.
Thank you. I can finish my coffee. I'm still here with you though.
You guys, this just keeps getting better and better. Do you see how many times she gut punched me? How many times? Oh. Did anybody else get that when she's like, it's your fault. You let him cross the boundaries. And I was like, oh, you know, like, oh my God, stop it, Sonny. You guys, seriously though, that was awesome. Wow. I'm like, you know, I finally stopped getting myself so stressed out over this show, and look at me go now. Look at me go now. They're awesome, you guys. So I guess I've got these 4, and we're going to pick one of these 4 as my ending quote to the beginning quote. Emoji J, are you here or did you leave? I don't know if he's got anything he wants to say really quick before we shut down. You're good this week? Okay. So I'm going to just go with this one. So, okay. So it is all life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. What if they are a little coarse and you may get your coat soiled or torn? What if you do fail and get fairly rolled into the dirt once or twice? Again, you shall never be so afraid of a tumble. Never more be so afraid of a tumble. That was a tongue twister and a half. But you didn't screenshot it, try to read it yourself. I'm not sure. But the whole point of it is, what would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? Do not answer that now. Save that for next week. I know I told you I was going to do that last week, and that was the first thing out of my mouth this morning when I opened my book was, crap, I should have listened to Emoji J and put that in my IG last week. But I didn't last week. So what did we learn today? To do it sooner than later. So here we go. Do not answer this question now, you guys. You will answer it next week when you join us for Lessons Learned at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? All right, guys, I'm out. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me, Lily, with Lessons Learned. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Sunny. You guys were amazing. Make sure you guys are favoriting the top 3 gifters. Make sure you favorited Emoji J. And if you want a spot on this show, reach out to Emoji J on IG or myself. Mine is Silly Lily 721. You guys, thank you. I love you. I believe in you, and have an amazing day. Mwah. Bye.